Hello, my friend. I've decided to do a little series on approaches to evil because it seems to me that evil is a problem in the world that many of us struggle with. So I thought it would be good to refresh your memory on various theories about evil in philosophy. And this one is about Socrates' view. So, to understand Socrates' view on evil, you have to remember that he looked at evil as something that was intricately bad for all concerned, but that those who do evil are simply not aware of it. He argued that no one does evil voluntarily. We think that there are some people who are bad and who just want to do things wrong. But Socrates argued that those who choose evil acts are basically in ignorance. He believed that it is a psychological impossibility for a human being to knowingly choose what is bad for them. So this is a kind of moral intellectualism. He thought that as soon as you know what is good for you, you will immediately be able to do what is good for you. But of course it isn't as simple as that. My husband gave me a box of chocolates for Easter, and I have eaten nearly one entire layer of the box, knowing full well it's going to make me feel quite sick and regretting it after a while. But then, I know this, and I know that I have a choice, and I know that this box of chocolates will be eaten entirely by me, and I persuade myself in the end that I might as well eat it quickly, eat one layer today and one layer tomorrow and have it over with, and I will not buy another box, and that will be it. So if I can manage my desire to be out of control with that and just enjoy myself with those chocolates once a year, or actually twice a year, he gives me one at Christmas too, then it's contained and it's not actually bad for me, and it's no worse to eat it in one day than to eat it over 2 weeks. It's limited. So there is some truth in this. I decide to do what's bad for me, even though I know it's bad for me, because I decide to enjoy the pleasure of eating those cherry chocolates, which are one of my favorite things. So this is how it works. We all desire our own happiness and well-being, says Socrates. But when we commit an evil act, we do it because we mistakenly believe that the act will bring some benefit or happiness, power, money, or pleasure. In this case that I gave you, pleasure. So we aren't wicked in the traditional sense when we do that. We are just confused about what actually leads to living a good life. Now, I happen to believe that complete abstinence of all pleasures doesn't lead to a good life, so I do want to allow myself some pleasures that only harm me and nobody else occasionally. So it's a decision I have taken about how I live my life. So for Socrates, evil is always self-harm, very interestingly, because the person committing an evil act is actually the one suffering the most. In Socrates' view, the soul is a very important part of a person, and when you do something wrong, it corrupts your soul. So the injustice you're doing actually hurts your inner world, and you're damaging yourself as well as the other person you are damaging if your evil pertains to somebody else. So you can never be truly happy or truly at one with another person again. If you do evil, you're actually acting completely against your own self-interest. So it's more of a mistaken ignorance than it is a sin. And there's no point in blaming people. What we have to do is educate them instead. So it's not malice, it's lack of knowledge. And the solution for Socrates is to help the person to learn to reflect on life and to become spiritually aware and educated so that they can work out for themselves what true beliefs about the world there are and how those can help them to steer their lives. Socrates himself spoke about having an inner demon. He called it a daimonion, his inner voice that would always, like a divine voice, that would always stop him when he was about to do something wrong. And it always told him what not to do, but not what to do. So it's very interesting and totally in line with what he used to say, which is, the unexamined life is not worth living. If you don't examine your life, you will live in ignorance, and if you live in ignorance, you will inevitably commit evil by mistake. That is Socrates' view, and I think there's a great deal there to think about. I hope it helps you to have a conversation with yourself about your attitude towards evil in your own life. Take care, my friend. I will do some more videos, so look for them. I intend to look at Sartre and de Beauvoir, Nietzsche, Machiavelli, Heidegger, and Hannah Arendt as well. So if you're interested in understanding evil, watch the other videos too. See you there.